small groups to the final week of our series, Advent, the coming of Jesus. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, or if you're celebrating it later, hope you have a Merry Christmas. I'm joined by the incredible May Brown as we are talking about the Prince of Peace. Now, this may be, I think, one of the most well-known names for Jesus. Mm-hmm. I know in my prayer life I use it a lot when asking for peace. But we're just kind of going to go ahead and dive right into this discussion. You guys have questions that your small group leader will ask you, and this will probably be one of them. I would assume so. May, and not that one, what worries you the most or gives you the most anxiety in life? So what stresses you out? What makes your skin crawl?
I'd say money is always one of those things. But with going through the series robbing Peter to pay Paul, it's like grown me to be less stressed out about money and all that in general. But I guess like another thing for me is like the fear of the unknown. Which is crazy for you because you've gone through like a lot of life changes this past year. It's crazy, but it's fun in the moment. But when you're thinking about like your future, it's like, what is going to happen next? Literally anything could happen. God could take me anywhere. And like, I trust God through it, but the flesh in me still is like, I need to know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think especially in this kind of culture that we live in, it's very much like we have control over everything. We can control how we want our burger cooked. We can control how soft we want our bed. We can control all these smaller facets of our lives. Yeah. But then whenever it comes to the biggest thing of like the actual direction of our lives, like we have no handle on that. So there's actually a verse that I wanted to read real quick that kind of ties into that thought. It's Romans 5, verse 1, and it says, "Therefore, since we have been made right in God's sight by faith, we have peace with God because of what Jesus Christ our Lord has done for us." So I feel like, especially in moments of anxiety and stress, it can almost feel like God's against us. Like it almost feels like it's retribution for something that we've done in the past and God kind of coming down on us. But in Romans 5:1, it clearly says that's not the case. So question I have for you is, how much easier does Romans 5:1 make it to not worry about whether you've disappointed God lately and have this fear that what you're going through is retribution for what you've done in the past?
Gosh, I guess it kind of takes me back into thinking about like in an eternal perspective about our lives here on earth, and like having a kingdom mindset, like it's all about God and it's all about building his kingdom so that one day all of his people are going to be in heaven with him. And I feel like for me, the part of like not disappointing God and the comfort that verse I guess like brings me is like the fact of like our salvation isn't even a question. If we accept him, we are saved and we will be with God, no matter how many times we're going to mess up, and no matter how many times like it feels like any sin that we sin against God and that we do mindlessly, like we are forgiven. And as long as we come back to him and ask for forgiveness and truly in our hearts believe like I'll try not to do this ever again. Like it's like sinning hurts like our heart and especially God's heart, and like truly like letting that be the promise of like I'm always forgiven, and if I accept Jesus into my heart, I'm always saved. Like that's kind of like yes, it scares me sometimes to disappoint God, but like he'll always love me and he'll always forgive me, and I just cling on to that promise when it comes to like peace and understanding who God is and his character.
I love that. The idea that sin does hurt us, but God like so loved the world that he sent his one and only son. And there's not just a forgiveness that comes with that, but there's also a peace. So thank you so much, May, for being with us for the final week of Advent. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this series. We've had lots of fun diving into the birth of Jesus and what it means for us in our lives. I hope you guys have a great small group discussion, and we'll see you guys next time.